on government schemes, attacks on government projects, and attacks on some of the projects which are important to India from a national security perspective. Now, when we raised these questions over the years, we were told that we were peddling conspiracy. But for the last few years, we at Republic TV have been saying there is an attempt to destabilize the democracy and unleash anarchy in India. Sanika.
Now, from CAA to Rafale to farmers' protest, and now recently we've seen the entire controversy over the Adani Hindenburg report. The opposition and the lobby line has been parroted by foreign groups or vice versa. We've seen the same model in Cambridge Analytica, the secret pact and secret meeting with China, and Soros sending his aide to walk with Rahul Gandhi. The foreign hand and alliances cannot be just a coincidence. That's our debate tonight.
And we have special panelists on the show this Sunday evening. Is there a larger Soros gang conspiracy that's unraveling? What did Soros give away by speaking on Friday? That's our debate today. Here's what S. Jaishankar has said over the weekend that's making headlines, and then straight to the debate.
India is an interesting case. It's a democracy, but its leader, Narendra Modi, is no Democrat. Inciting violence against Muslims was an important factor in this meteoric rise. Modi maintains close relations with both open and closed societies.
I could take a view that the individual in question, Mr. Soros, is a old, rich, opinionated person sitting in New York who still thinks that his views should determine how the entire world works. Now, if I could only stop at old, rich and opinionated, I would put it away. But he is old, rich, opinionated and dangerous. Because what happens is when such people and such views and such organizations, they actually invest resources.
And has the government been spot on this issue? And everyone who's been talking about George Soros, were they wrong when they spoke about George Soros and his international conspiracies? In fact, what we will also do in the course of this broadcast, there is a fantastic interview of George Soros from many, many decades ago, where he's heard saying that he is amoral. He's saying, I just want to make money. I don't care about civil societies. We'll play that comment as well in some time from now. But I'd like to introduce our panelists this evening. Dr. Syed Zafar Islam, National Spokesperson, former parliamentarian of the BJP. Professor Salvatore Babones, Professor of Sociology, University of Sydney, joining us live. He's live in Mangaluru in Karnataka today. Professor, hello. Ratan Charda is live in our studios here in Mumbai, political analyst and author. PKD Nambiar joining us on the broadcast this evening. Good evening, PKD. Subrashta, columnist, author, joining us live from the national capital. She has very strong views on this subject. Tanveer Ahmed, national spokesperson of the JDS, joining us live from Bengaluru this evening. Renu Mittal, senior journalist, joining us live from Delhi. Rahul Singh, author, live from our studios in Mumbai this evening. Thank you, Rahul ji, for joining us. And Manasvi Thapar, political analyst, live from Ahmedabad. We have a big panel. We have some great speakers, and we have 1.5 hours. So everyone gets to speak. No shouting, no screaming, no speaking over each other. That's my only request. Let me start with Salvatore first up. Salvatore, has India... You heard what Jaishankar said, the External Affairs Minister. Is he wrong when he says this rich, opinionated, who we call a financial global mercenary, he wants Modi out? He believes Modi's hold on the Indian democracy has weakened. Do you agree with George Soros? Why do you think he's a danger, Salvatore?
Well, I think you mean, do I agree with Dr. Jaishankar? I hope you won't put me in the position of defending George Soros. Look, George Soros certainly is old, rich, opinionated, and a New Yorker. But that's no crime. Of course, we can respect someone for having political views. What's dangerous about George Soros is that he throws his money around in ways that most other people of his wealth don't. Most other people of his wealth spend their money endowing arts institutions, universities, that is doing work that is consensual, that most people will agree with. The problem we have here is that George Soros uses his substantial resources to influence politics, often in countries where a little money goes a long way. So when you have, $8 or $10 billion at your disposal, you can really make a difference when it comes to influencing the Indian political scene. Now, his statements about Mr. Modi are flatly false. I mean, the worst I've seen Mr. Modi accused of is not inciting violence, but of doing not enough to prevent violence, which is not the same kind of accusation. And as far as the BJP or the BJP government in Delhi having relations with both open and closed societies, every government in the world has relations with both open and closed societies. The European Union has a very close relation with China. The U.S. has a very close relation with Saudi Arabia. So those are hardly reasons to criticize Indian democracy. Really, the problem here is that not that George Soros is taking a position on Indian democracy. Of course, anybody can take a position like that. The problem is that George Soros seems to be taking positions against the Indian state, and he seems to be supporting others who do the same thing. That's what makes him, instead of just being an opponent for Dr. Jaishankar, that's why I think in Dr. Jaishankar's view, Soros is quote unquote dangerous.
Yes. Just one more question before Sanika comes in. We spoke about here on Republic TV, we broke down all the controversies that we've seen in the last few years, Salvatore. And I'm talking about from Pegasus, right? George Soros sponsored portal put out the Pegasus report. The political ecosystem in India used that to stall parliament, and there was so much of noise for months together. And Soros-funded groups, eventually Soros-funded groups awarded those who released the story. You see the irony there. Not just that, that's one example, Salvatore. I'll give you another example. On the Rafale story, George Soros-linked groups filed complaints against the Rafale deal. And then the same parties, like the Vadra Congress in India, used it for the election campaign for months on end. They went talking about it, right? Members of Soros-funded IPI then published crop pictures of our former defense minister's note, our late defense minister Parikar's note. I'll give you another example. Even in the farmers' protest, which went on for a very long time in India, which the entire world talked about, some tried to embarrass India using that. George Soros linked groups had a role. He funded some of the Sikh groups, or his directly affiliated firms were in contact with some of the groups that were protesting. So you see, this man has his hand everywhere, and everywhere where there's chaos and anarchy, he's got a blueprint of how to do this, isn't it?
There's nothing fundamentally wrong with George Soros supporting groups in Indian society that have a political viewpoint. And democracy is all about fighting things out in the political arena. And in fact, if I were to guess, I would guess that those groups that have received Soros funding, instead of succeeding because of the extra money they got from the Open Society Foundation, are actually probably taking more political damage over the fact that they are receiving funding from the Open Society Foundation. So I'm not sure it's a net gain for them. The danger here is not the day-to-day of democratic politics. India has a robust democracy, and India will surely survive these kind of political tussles. They're part and parcel of democracy the opposition is going to oppose. It's more broadly that George Soros is interested in using his money in a systematic way to undermine the Indian state. It's not any one of the groups he funds. Any one of the groups he funds, these are genuine Indian groups, at least all the ones I'm aware of, are genuine Indian groups that simply have a point of view on Indian politics. What becomes dangerous is when unlimited money becomes available from an outside source for one point of view. And that has the potential to really be dangerous for the state as a whole. That is, ultimately it has the opportunity to corrupt Indian politics. As people think to themselves, instead of thinking, what do I believe about my country, they start thinking, what would Mr. Soros fund? And that's when we start to see the danger.
Absolutely, Mr. Barbados, when you're talking about the dangers of money pouring in from foreign countries, from foreign sources, to people in India, to certain lobbies being very dangerous who are trying to play with the Indian democracy. So we've had such an example before. There have been reports of how George Soros has announced $100 billion to those to fight nationalist governments, nationalist regimes in India and across the world. So when you see this trend of attack on nationalism, how do you see that?
Yeah, this is not only an India issue. This is a global issue because Soros's resources and the resources of those he partners with are really so large that they're able to do this in a systematic way across countries. But again, I want to insist, I don't want to vilify any particular group in India that receives Soros funding. Instead, I want to ask Indians to take a step back and think how influential in Indian politics and in the politics of other countries should this one person or this one point of view be? That any individual will tell you, I'm not influenced by Soros' money. He's only supporting me doing what I'm doing already. And that individual will be speaking the truth. I don't have any reason to doubt them. But when you have a systematic confluence of organizations and individuals being funded from outside to take one point of view, that has the potential to tilt the playing field in India. And as I said, it becomes dangerous when instead of people genuinely presenting their own points of view in Indian politics, and there's very robust disagreement in Indian politics, it becomes dangerous when instead of presenting their own points of view, they start to ask themselves, what would Soros fund? And that's when it starts to undermine the state.
Yeah, one final question in this one-on-one session, and then I'll open it up if any of our panelists have questions to you. You're an outside observer. Of course, you have keen interest in Indian politics. You do comment on it every now and then. As an observer, why do you think someone like a Soros would want to target our Prime Minister, the government, and India?
There is a liberal internationalist agenda centered on New York, Washington, London, Davos, and that liberal internationalist order very much feels threatened by democratic politics because democracy is not making decisions according to what the experts think or what the billionaires think. Democracy means making decisions according to what the people think. So it's very threatening for this elite group if we have robust democracies that don't want to take their guidance. Now, nationalisms, by their very nature, tend to be focused on the nation, tend to be focused on national issues, national democracies. What's important here, not what's important in Geneva or New York. And so by shifting the debate to the national frame, democracies are, in essence, undermining the influence of these global elites. So unfortunately, this puts people like Soros in the position not only of arguing for a certain point of view within a democracy, it puts them in the position of undermining democracy itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Professor Salvatore, we request you to stay with us. We're also opening up the debate right now, but I would like to request Tanveer, Renu Mittal, Rahul Singh, Manasvi Thapar, if any of you want to pose a question to Professor Salvatore as he continues to be live with us. Any of our panelists who would like to take a question with Professor Salvatore?
Yeah, I'd like to.
Yes,
yes.
Yeah, Professor,
I have no
you
question.
used the word
Absolutely.
dangerous.
One second.
Mr. Jaishankar also used the word dangerous.
Sure.
I don't see how one man can be a danger to a country like India with a robust democracy. And then I take exception to some of the words that Mr. Jaishankar has used for George Soros. He's called him old. Is there anything wrong in being old? As long as your mental faculties are there, it's fine. I'm quite old also. But
That's
to call
okay.
him old, opinionated, and rich, anything wrong with being rich?
He used the word dangerous as well, Mr. Singh. He used the word dangerous. He used the word dangerous.
He used the word
dangerous with that.
Yeah, he used the word danger to democracy, I think.
Dangerous.
No, dangerous. He said he's a dangerous man.
Dangerous.
But yeah,
So he
but
said,
why is he a dangerous man?
Yeah.
That's what I don't understand. Why does Mr. Jaishankar call Soros a dangerous man? I think he's an admirable man. Here's a man here's a man who began as a railway porter, as a refugee. And you know, I was just reading about him today, and may I quote what he's done for India? His fund, Open Society Fund, he has given about $1 billion to including helping smallholder farmers and boost the incomes and making healthcare
schooling and financial services more available to Indians. All very admirable things he's done.
So is that a
What's wrong
newspaper
with
which
that?
is listed what he's done for India, sir?
Yes, it's all there.
So we'll have to check if the newspaper also gets funding from Soros, sir, because a lot of media houses are getting funding from the Open Society.
Honestly,
I can't believe a newspaper put that out a day after George Soros actually said that. But Salvatore, you can take that.
No, but tell me, doesn't he give for very good causes in India to help finance small businesses, small farmers? All that he's doing that in India.
Rahul Singh, we believe that could be a cloak as well to what happens behind the scenes, but Professor Salvatore can take this question.
You remind me of what Mrs. Indira Gandhi once used to say, foreign hand is behind everything. There's no foreign hand. There's a man who's opinionated. That's fine. What's wrong with being opinionated? He likes to promote democracy. He feels that Mr. Modi is an autocrat. That's his point of view. That's all. I mean, why sort of demonize a man who's done so much? He's one of the biggest philanthropists in the world.
A lot of responses coming in. Okay, but Salvatore, you take that one. Salvatore, you respond to him. The question was to you.
Right, can we please
Look, you're absolutely right that there was no particular reason to chastise Mr. Soros for being old, rich, and opinionated. I don't know why Dr. Jaishankar did that, but then he said, and I don't have a problem with that. What he said is the problem I have is that he's dangerous, and that's where I would like to take it up. Most people with Mr. Soros's resources don't tend to want to explicitly try to foment regime change, if you will, in other countries. That is, they may support good causes, they may support things like independent journalism, but they do it quietly, and they don't tend to call out leaders as being anti-democratic. Now, we see that in an extreme. Many people have called out Vladimir Putin as being a threat to democracy. But I think that the effort to put Mr. Modi on a par with Mr. Putin as a threat to democracy, which is the sort of rhetoric I think we're hearing from Mr. Soros, I think that's wildly misplaced. I don't think that's a fair I don't think the same sort of language that we use to describe Lukashenko in Belarus or Putin in Russia should be used for Mr. Modi here in India. Mr. Modi is clearly a democratically elected president with a mandate from the Indian people. It's certainly all right for Indians to oppose Mr. Modi. In fact, India needs more opposition. If I were to say the chief problem with Indian politics today is that the opposition is too weak.
It's not that simple, Salvatore. It's not that simple. Mr. Rahul Singh here is trying to make it very simple. But I saw Subrashta wanted to come in. I'm getting in Subrashta now, opening it up. Salvatore, thank you for joining us here on Republic TV. But I think Tanveer had a question. If you want to stay on, I request you to stay on for 5 more minutes. Tanveer will take a question, but I want Subrashta to come in. She wanted to respond. Yes, Subrashta, I'm getting in Subrashta. I'm opening it up. Tanveer, hold on. I'm getting in Subrashta. I promised you we have all the time.
Yes,
Subrashta.
Yes, I don't know which gentleman spoke prior to Salvatore giving an answer, but this entire singing praise and almost like a pain to George Soros is something I'm deeply uncomfortable with. When East India Company came to India, it came with a lot of money and resources also. It did not just plunder India, and that's what we have been taught in our colonial texts, that it did a lot of good for the country. So are we supposed to accept any largesse or any funds that George Soros or individuals like him throw at India because we are poor and unwashed and dirty? What is the argument that the gentleman was trying to make? He clearly has no clue of what is happening in this world. Today, I'm making it very clear that colonialism is not going to come to us, and we are not going to be colonized by some foreign hands with white skin coming over in boats and ships. Colonization is being done with a very sophisticated means and technologies. This is an open modern warfare that George Soros and people like George Soros are members of. How can we forget that this is the same gentleman who has been responsible for the tanking of UK pounds? This is the same gentleman who changed the entire economy of Thailand, Malaysia just by currency manipulation. Which world is the gentleman who spoke living in? Is he living in 2023? Or is he still stuck in some 18th century, 19th century old world charm where he respects people with money just because they are pouring in money to ostensibly help people in need? What is he trying to say? There is a simple perspective in place. No one, and I slightly disagree with Salvatore here, I think George Soros is a dangerous man, because when my government says he is, at least I'll give some merit to my democratically elected government. When External Affairs Minister comes and says this, definitely there has to be a merit to that argument. Otherwise, you cannot simply, just say anything and get away. And I'm saying this because you may have a problem with what Mr. Jaishankar says. We may have issues with it, but to completely refute it and say, well, Indira Gandhi said so and Indira Gandhi was false, who are you to judge? Who the hell are people to judge if Indira Gandhi was right or wrong? When systematically, since the time of Jawaharlal Nehru, it has been proved that foreign hands have been there every time India wants to rise its head above the other nations, foreign hands have always played a role. So are we to deny history? Are we to deny what happened, the whole Pakistan-Bangladesh situation when Indira Gandhi was ruling? I know, people know that I have a very anti-Congress stand generally in my political views. But when it comes to my nation, there is no Congress, there is no BJP. There is no Indira Gandhi and there is no Modi. There is just national interest which will be at play.
Yeah.
What George Soros has said and how George Soros operates is for every intellectually savvy individual to see. People in India who are not able to see it are being dishonest with their whole conscience and are being dishonest to this country's credentials. And I think my humble request to them would be to get out of this mindset that if somebody comes, with a pack of money at your door, you are supposed to welcome them with open arms just because he has some money.
Yes.
We really need to get over that mentality.
Yes, and Subhrashra, adding to you, I think Ratan Sharda, who's in our Mumbai studios here, would like to make a couple of points. 30 seconds to you before we...
First of all, Rahul Singh ji talked about, spending money on philanthropy. Missionaries also came with the object of civilizing us. And we know what happened in Africa, what happened in Northeast, if you're talking current times, how it led to separatism, huge rebellion, violence. And coming to Mr. Soros himself, I think he had to come out in the open and show his hand, because he found his lieutenants within India, outside India, did not serve his cause. He has been around trying to make some difference to India, but somehow the media that he nurtured didn't help him. And what is bigger issue of Soros? Let me put it across. He supports every kind of new left thinking, every kind of new left organizations. And new left organization, what is their thinking? They hate nationalism, because they hate nationalism, they hate social security, they hate families, they hate marriages. Their idea is to break the society, create anarchy, so communism comes in through the back door. And that is what this fellow is supporting, because his entire life has been, he says, I want to stop dictators and would-be dictators. Who is it to decide? Mr. Modi, under Mr. Modi from 2014, scores of elections have taken place. Has any election been stopped? Has any assembly been dissolved? Has any action been taken which goes against the democratic norms of this country? No. So this approach of saying that he is coming with philanthropic mind, I'm sorry. If you look at the number of organizations he is supporting, he pledged $1 billion to end nationalism, to stop democratic elected governments. Already I have given some examples. Apart from that, we have something called Equality Lab in US, which is being financed by him. What does it do? It has made casteism into mainstream, claiming that casteism is the base of racism. So it has let go the white racism in the name of casteism. Now there are companies who are going to corporates, there are 30,000 HR professionals teaching them to be sensitive about casteism, how casteism has destroyed the world and India and Hindu society. He is the one who has created Hinduphobia, Hindumesia.
Deliberately, there's a lot of conversation around it.
It has been a very sustained campaign.
Before the elections.
Today, Hindus are a marked community in USA. That is why I fear that this person is not a safe person, and he may have money, but this is where the $30 million to $30 million, he has spent about $40 million on $48 million on 30 major US media houses.
Yeah. A lot of them in India, sir. Ratan Sharda ji,
they are in India.
Yeah, with your permission, because Salvatore has to leave, I was trying to see if I can get one question in from Tanveer, because Tanveer had one question and I'll free Salvatore after that. And because Zafar also hasn't come in, Zafar is waiting. Tanveer, one question, because I want to bring Zafar also in. Your question to Salvatore, and we'll open up this debate, please.
Firstly, I don't have any question to Mr. Salvatore. I did really understand his opinion, what exactly he's trying to really speak about. But I really totally agree with one point Mr. Jaishankar said and Subrashtra said. Mr. Soros might be definitely very dangerous, very, very dangerous. I see entire BJP rattled, and a person of a caliber of Jaishankar needs to really come and speak about Soros, who's not BBC, who has absolutely no following. He's just another rich man. What is that they really want to protect or hide? Mr. Soros did ask 4 questions. Why are we trying to drape every time a fraudulent? No, sir, you gave everybody monologue.
Okay. Speak. Yeah, okay, sir, complete your point.
Everybody had a monologue. Let me speak, sir. Let me speak. Otherwise, I would see that this is also strongly opinionated, and I'll keep quiet.
This is opinion, but you can speak. Okay. This is democratic opinion.
Soros did ask 4 questions. Soros did ask 4 questions regarding Adani. Is anybody can really deny that Adani and Modi are absolutely like 2 best pals for whom Mr. Modi was helping? Absolutely nobody can deny. Can anybody deny that Adani made his wealth by illegitimate ways? Nobody can really deny. There are certain questions which I do have, and Soros did said that he is amoral. Definitely he is a capitalist and moral definitely don't go hand in hand. We do have several of them. We have like the thousands of them here in India. Why is BJP so rattled about Soros? Did Soros, do you have any report about who he has funded here in India?
Yes.
Absolutely
Yes.
It is
One minute.
Name calling and no, 1 second. Opposition slamming. 1 second, sir. Opposition slamming. And regarding Rahul Gandhi, every time we want to really associate every single person whom BJP thinks is dangerous with Rahul Gandhi, he goes and meets China. Absolutely, Rahul Gandhi is really doing something wrong. Rahul Gandhi meets somebody. Why is that? BJP is so rattled about Rahul Gandhi.
Do you also hold such meetings, Tanveer?
Nobody feels Rahul Gandhi is important. Only BJP feels.
Okay. No, but I want to free Salvatore. Salvatore, you want to respond, and I'll free you after that. I won't hold you after.
And last question.
Okay.
One question to Professor.
Yes.
One question to Professor.
Yeah.
Professor, I really understand that you are saying that every nationalist. How are you saying that BJP is the only nationalist party? Every single party in this country really wants to lay their life for India. No party, no political party in India is absolutely anti-national, and BJP is not the only national party, Professor. Do you have any study that there is any anti-national party here in India?
Oh, I never suggested there was any anti-national party in India. In fact, I've repeatedly stressed in my interviews that every party in India, at least every party I'm aware of, every major party is strongly pro-national. That's really not the issue here. The issue here is Mr. Soros. Now, unlike Subrashta, I have no quarrel with the way he made his money. He found that the pound and the Southeast Asian currencies were overvalued, and he bet against them. And that's pretty much what happened with this whole Hindenburg issue. They bet that Adani was overvalued, and their allegations would have fallen flat if other people didn't agree that the Adani enterprises were overvalued. Now, they've gone back in value just 1 year to they were at this time last year. That's only a modest correction. Whatever it may seem like in terms of dollars lost, the correction is a 1-year correction in Adani stock, and I'm sure that it'll make a full recovery from that. Mr. Soros, though, is so controversial, not only because of what he does and what he funds, but because it's useful to be angry at Mr. Soros. So I don't think the BJP feels threatened by Soros. I think they sent an opportunity here. Now, you guys are the experts on Indian politics. I'll leave you to debate this. But if they're making a big deal, if Dr. Jaishankar and if the BJP in general are making a big deal of Mr. Soros's comments, it's because they sense that they can weaponize Mr. Soros's comments to gain electoral advantage in India. That is to say, they see an opportunity here in the threat posed by Soros. Soros is, at this point, a modest threat to India. Like I said, I don't think that he's going to undermine Indian democracy or cause a coup d'etat in India. I think he tilts the playing field in ways that have the potential to corrupt Indian democracy. But that's not the big issue here. The big issue here is that the BJP sees an opportunity now to gain votes by vilifying George Soros. These are not contradictory narratives. The idea that Mr. Soros is dangerous and that the BJP can benefit from that danger, there's really no contradiction there. I think both are true.
Yeah. Salvatore, thank you. Salvatore, thank you for joining us. on this broadcast. I'm just opening it up. Sanika,
Yes.
go to Zafar. Zafar, I'll pick on a point by the JDS. The JDS doesn't find it unusual. The JDS, which, by the way, we're not so sure whether they will ally with your party or the Vadra Congress in the elections, but they are certainly of the opinion that it's okay if in the Cambridge Analytica office... No, 1 minute. Tanvir, can I complete my question? They are of the opinion it's completely okay if you find a Vadra Congress poster in the Cambridge Analytica office in London. They are okay if Rahul Gandhi shakes hands with the Chinese envoy at the height of Doklam. They are okay if Rahul Gandhi, seated in front of Sonia Gandhi, is signing a deal with China secretly in the early 2000s. They're okay with that. And they're also okay if Soros's man is marching with Rahul Gandhi. They don't see anything unusual in this. You want to respond to that, Zafar, and then we'll open it up.
Let me respond to that question first. First of all, whatever Soros has said, he also must realize, and people like him or people having that kind of mindset who wants to destabilize our country and the leadership or the political party they want to, or the government they want to destabilize, they will never be able to do. Because India is not only a strong democracy, but it's a mother of all democracies, and we understand the nuisance of all those things which he is talking about. We are a strong nation. The people of this great country understand the intent and the role played by foreign people, especially those who have resources. And as rightly Dr. Jaishankar said, that he is dangerous because he has not only opinion, but he also has resources to invest and to propagate what his opinion is. So it is okay if somebody makes an opinion with respect to whether rich or poor. But when he is using his resources, when he's let me complete. I was not interrupting anyone. I was listening to everyone. So when somebody's intent is to use his resources, invest in resources to destabilize and propagate his opinion, that is a dangerous thing, and that is what the Honorable External Affairs Minister has highlighted it. Of course, Indian democracy, nobody can dent it, be it Soros or for that matter anybody else in the world. But it is unfortunate, and that is what Surata was also talking about, that there are people within the country, like JDS spokesperson have just sounded and given a bite to all of you, that they are okay with everything. No matter who is trying to damage the country, no matter who is trying to destabilize the government, no matter who is trying to break the social fabrics of our country, but they are okay with that because it serves their purpose, it serves their political ambition. And we as a Bharatiya Janata Party and our government, we are absolutely clear that such forces will be dealt sternly by the government and by the people of this great country. That is something which I wanted to tell everyone, that please do not associate with such forces and do not support those forces, because they are the one who are anti-India. They are the one who, as somebody said prior to me, that whenever India is shining, whenever they see that India is globally becoming a force, then these forces become very active to destabilize, to damage our interests. But we know how to safeguard our interests. We will be able to safeguard our interests despite the fact that we have Soros outside and we have likes of JDS or many other Congress party within India. But we will be able to tackle all this purely because we enjoy, the Honorable Prime Minister enjoys the support and confidence of the people of this great country.
Manasvi, we see that you want to make a point and we will give you the opportunity, but Mr. PKD Nambiar has been waiting for a very long time and he wants to make a quick point for a very limited time that he is with us. Mr. PKD Nambiar, we've seen the opposite side making a case that what is wrong with George Soros? He's just a billionaire. There's nothing wrong in being a billionaire. Of course, there's nothing wrong. But using those billions of dollars to fund propaganda against a country, trying to break the country, trying to destabilize the government, the elected government through unconstitutional means is what the problem really is. PKD, your response on that?
Absolutely. I think I think you have really answered the question. We were talking about the dangerous, what is danger and etc. The kind of discussion which we were having. The danger is not an individual of a 92-year-old or a 95-year-old as an individual. The danger is the kind of ideology he propagates and he has got the means to propagate that money as a mission to put it all across the world, whether he uses it from the point of view of earning it as for his business purpose or to destabilize the countries and make money out of it. This can be, his money is more dangerous than he as an individual. And his ideas are more dangerous than he as an individual of a 92-year-old man. So I think that is one part. The second part is that there has been a discussion, and even in today, why are we giving so much of an importance to why the Modi government is rattled, why the right ecosystem is completely rattled because of an old man making a statement that no. It is a fashion from the last 2018 onwards, one after another. As soon as one particular one report comes up, there is a complete ruckus, whether it is in our parliament or opposition parties jumping on it without having any data, proof or anything. It is only just pure allegations and a conspiracy one after another. So when that kind of anything, I think as a nation we need to stand up. And today's India is not the one which was about maybe 20 years back or 30 years back. Today we are a progressive country. Our voice is heard across the world. Even if somebody makes a noise, it is felt all across. People really responded. Even the last man on the line will be there to respond to that people with his head high, that who the hell are you to come and give an opinion of yours? We haven't asked for your money to come and invest in India. You as a businessman, if any business people who come and invest the money, I am a businessman myself, I will only invest money if I feel some business in it. So it's not about the charity what you give. And we are not looking for any of these so-called billionaires charity, or neither the missionaries money of charity here to fund our people. We are capable as a 1.4 billion people. These conspiracies needs to be absolutely uprooted forever, whether it is BBC, whether it is George Soros, whether it is the various indexes, freedom reports or hunger report and etc. I think we need to call them out, and that is the best way to tell them that we mean business. We talk about business. Just imagine that whether it is a French Prime Minister or a UK Prime Minister or the US President is thanking us for giving them business. The purchasing power of India, the insecured the West, the insecured West against India. That is where the problem is, Niranjan. I think it's the right way. We are calling out all these people by their name and showing their place that you just hang where you are. Don't try to meddle with our democracy. And nobody, and let me repeat this, nobody is requires to teach us what is democracy is. We are teaching democracy to the world. We are talking about the peace, what is real peace is to the world. We know how to make sure that our borders are protected. I think let's call these people as a spade, and that's end. That's the end.
PKD, you mentioned one thing. You said you're a businessman. Now tell me, if you're a businessman with $1 billion, I'm going to both Renmurtha and Manasvi, they haven't spoken, but I just want to get them in. If you were a businessman, right? You want to invest in India, fantastic. You're welcome. You have to come invest. We'll be more than happy. But who the hell are you to say there needs to be a democratic revival in India? Is he then a businessman or an activist? Okay? Manasvi, today can you...
And especially using a Hindenburg report. Using a Hindenburg report to say that this gives hope for revival of democracy in India.
Just 1 second. I have a lot of business interest in the Middle East, whether it is UAE or in Qatar. I have almost 300 people working for me in the Middle East. Will I ever get into either it is a kingdom, whether there is any democracy is there or not? That's not my business.
No, will they kick you out if you do that?
I invest in the Middle East with 300 people working for me.
Will they kick you out if you do that, PKD?
Indians. That's it.
Will they kick you out if you do that? Will they kick you out if you say you need a democratic revival in UAE?
I can't even raise any voice about I am supposed to do business, make money, fund my business, or put whatever purpose what I wanted to do. If I do any anti-comment, even in the Middle East,
then what democratic revival is? Then what democratic revival is Soros talking about, Manasvi? Then what democratic revival is Soros talking about?
No, but who is he to talk about democratic revival? Manasvi, is he a businessman?
Who is he?
Who is he? Is he a
Hope
businessman?
Niranjan and Tanika.
Or is he a
Tanika, Niranjan,
mercenary?
hope you give me the time. I have been waiting for almost
Yes,
1
yes.
hour.
Yes.
Please give me that uninterrupted time, Niranjan. Who is George Soros? Old, rich, opinionated, and a nobody for me and for my country. He does not matter. He never mattered to us. He will never matter. These people come and go and they don't have any role in India. India is for Indians. And we are the people who are going to decide a robust democracy. And we are a democracy. We are proud of it. We are the world's largest democracy. And this particular person cannot decide who we are. Narendra Modi is our Prime Minister. We may have different opinion than what he would have, but that is our right. We can question him in the Parliament or not in the Parliament. We can question him. That's the robustness of our democracy, and this is the power of our democracy, that he is allowed to speak. My question, what comes, is the world's largest political party in the world's largest democracy. Why don't we ban all the funding which he has done? Why don't we do an investigation on what George Soros has done? There cannot be any anti-national force. And when I say I don't see 130 crore plus Indians, 130 crore plus robust democracy can be so fragile that the entire people in power are talking about George Soros, who's a nobody. He is a nobody. Zafarji, please give me some time. The reality is, we should not be even discussing about it. He's a nobody. He's a $8-9 billion guy. Do you think my country is so fragile that this particular person can actually rattle my country? I don't think so. My country is not so weak. His money does not even, it's peanuts for India. Why do we even have to discuss? His money is nothing for India. We are one of the world's largest economy. We are the world's largest democracy. We have the world's largest political party in power, and we as Indians want to believe that George Soros is a powerful guy, can destabilize my country. The entire narrative is wrong. We cannot be destabilized by these kind of people, and in fact, no country or person can actually even think to destabilize our strong nation. Where is this coming from? We should not be scared, and whoever is creating this narrative that these people we should be worried about, we should not be worried. We should stand strong and with confidence say that these people don't even matter. Zafarji, the entire country is with you. Be powerful, be strong in your communication and say these people don't matter. Why do you want to create a narrative that these people actually matter to us? They are not dangerous. They are the weakest people. Who are they? Who is he? Can he destabilize my country? No, Zafarji. Change this narrative. No person in this world can destabilize my country. How can we even accept this narrative?
Zafar, I'll just take one comment. One comment from Renu Mittal hasn't even spoken. She's been waiting for 1 hour. Zafar, quick rebuttal. I'm going across to Renu Mittal next.
No. All I'm trying to tell you that it is the intent, which is something which we have taken note of. I think you should also, as an Indian, you must also understand that there are forces who are acting against our nation's interests. And collectively, not only us as a government, but collectively, all of us as a citizen, we need to safeguard our interests, nation's interests first. And that is something which I was talking about. They are weak, they are strong. It's something which we can all debate. We can all debate. But their intent is something which is very nefarious, which is dangerous, is something which you also need to understand. And as far as taking action against, such people, you must see our history in last 9 years.
Please allow me. Please allow me.
Let me just complete. Why are you in such a great hurry to respond? Allow me to complete. Nobody is running away. All I'm saying that such people, such institutions, such organizations who are... So wait for your turn. So why are you repeatedly interrupting me? Wait for me to complete, then you can come. Didn't I listen to you?
I'm not interrupting.
I'll give you enough time, Manasvi. I'll give you enough time. Manasvi, we still have easily, we have about half an hour. Take it. Aram se, we'll speak aram se. I'm coming. I don't
know what is his problem. What is his problem? You can respond. At least allow me to complete. You can respond. There's no...
Go ahead, Zafar. Zafar, go ahead.
All I'm saying that such people who are working, such institutions, individuals, organizations who have worked against our interests, you must do a back testing of our initiative against those people. We have taken action against those people. In last 9 years, we have taken action, and we are very, very firm in tackling with these people and taking stern action against them, and we will do that. Let me assure you that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're getting Renu into the debate now. Ms. Zafar, because she's been waiting very patiently for the last 1 hour. Renu, if you can, can you be so naive and can you be so ignorant or turn a blind eye to the kind of funding that certain sections of media get from a billionaire like George Soros? Can you be blind to it? Can you be naive about it? These are the people who are trying to shape a certain narrative. Can that be ignored? Renu, yes.
Can I?
Yes, go ahead.
Can I begin by saying that there was a debate in Parliament on the Adani issue, and a whole lot of speakers asked the government various questions, but there was total silence from the part of the government. The Prime Minister, while replying, did not say a word. He did not even say that okay, this government will initiate an inquiry and will get back to the House on whatever has been said. Now, in such a situation where Mr. Adani is on the firing line, his shares are tanking, public sector banks are in focus because a whole lot of money has been loaned. Now the government owes the opposition, parliament, the nation, whoever and whatever, an explanation. What has led to all this? Because the silence of the government has led to this situation where a whole lot of players are coming in and they're saying whatever they want to say, because the government is only attacking the opposition for raising issues on Adani, like they have been attacking the opposition on various things. Why are you attacking the opposition? Why don't you answer some of the basic questions? Why don't you initiate an independent inquiry? All this will not happen, whether it's a George, Smriti Irani comes, Jaishankar comes. It shows that the government is hugely rattled by whatever is going on. The government needs to be transparent. If suppose any characters are funding media which are changing the narratives, it's up to the government to open an investigation into all these channels, into all these newspapers, into websites or whatever. They have all the power. They use ED, they use CBI, they use income tax. Please let me finish. They use whole lot of actors and characters to put people in their place. Now, if there really is a seriousness involved in trying to get to the bottom of who is funding who and for what purpose, then I'm sure this government should act. Why not? They have all the time and the resources at their command. Now, the fact is that the government is also very selective. When it suits a particular channel who is towing their line or who is saying nice things about them and not questioning whatever is happening, then they let it go. Whereas others are under attack. Now, that's a bit unfair. So, that is that's the kind of things that Mr. George Soros and people like him, they are taking up these issues. Many of them are left liberals, many of them are anti-right, many of them feel that democracy has to live on. They have a viewpoint. It's okay. It's not that they are interfering. They may ask questions. Like somebody pointed out earlier, Mr. Modi also said, "Agli baar Trump Sarkar." Why should he get into that? It's America's duty to whom they elect. He's not a voter there. He has no stakes there. The point is that, we interfere in other people's business in other states, so the others are doing the same thing. In that situation, I would be very happy if an all-out investigation is opened out against the media and whoever is being funded by who, but it can't be a selective process. Now, The Wire is a left-leaning anti-government website, so we have a situation where, all the attack is on them, but certainly not on other channels and newspapers which are very happy to take the government line. My point is that the government has to respond to queries that are being made. Everybody has to be accountable for whatever their actions are. This government has not responded to a single question on Mr. Adani. What are his business interests? What are his links with the government? What are his links with the Prime Minister, with the PMO? No, please, let me finish. The point is that all these situations arise when there is complete silence on the part of the government. So you find a Hindenburg report coming out. The government, because of that, various countries have withdrawn these things from Adani. So why? Because there is a certain credibility, whether whoever is funding them, whatever may be the motives, is a separate issue. Are the facts wrong? Are the facts right? We have to basically go into that. So I think that what is the most important here is facts. Facts have to be correct. The intentions may come later. The motives may come later. But that is what is happening here in this country, that we are ignoring the facts.
Renu, in the course of the last, I've listened to you patiently, and in fact, while you were speaking, I was making notes. Renu, the fact is you have been very candid in also making a point that, you made a comment about the Prime Minister saying agli baar Trump sarkar. Yes, I was there reporting when he said that. And I know he said that. And of course, everyone has the right to debate and you've debated that. But you also said that others have the right to do the same. So you admitted that they have the right to do the same, to interfere and make such political comments as a journalist. One more thing. You said selective. No. You said Renu, you said that. Not just that. You said selective action, right? Selective action. And somebody earlier in the debate said Indira Gandhi also used to say that there is a foreign hand, right? So when Indira Gandhi, that was Rahul Singh. Rahul Singh, when Indira Gandhi said there's a foreign hand and banned the BBC, that was fantastic. Everybody clapped, right? But now, when Modi government does a survey, it's not a raid, they do a survey, they haven't banned the BBC. How is it a crime?
On
who's
a
being
tax
selective?
Case, that is years
and
ago.
who's
but
being
nothing
selective?
new.
No, but it comes straight
those are very
after that
convenient
documentary was raided.
No,
was
that's fine.
done.
That's fine. We can debate that.
Yeah.
We can debate that.
No, but
You are taking
wasn't
away
this
their
retaliation?
laptops and their data.
This so-called survey,
it's
wasn't this a
okay.
retaliation?
They are saying they are.
No,
Let me just answer whatever has been said to me. I'm saying that you are
Ratan and Zafar want to come in.
You may use the word survey. Okay, doesn't matter. If BBC once has done something wrong, certainly take them up for it.
Savio as well.
I'm saying that
Savio is joining the debate.
It is so coincidental that because this
I'm getting
government
Tanveer
has
also.
banned
Okay,
the
Zafar and
documentary
Tanveer.
that they've shown on Mr.
Okay,
Narendra
I got your point.
So
I got your point on that
certainly
one.
there is action.
No, I got your point on that. Manasvi, hold on. Manasvi, hold on. I want to bring in Zafar and Tanveer. I want to bring in Zafar. Yes, Tanveer. Tanveer, tell me something. Tanveer, okay. Tanveer, I'm asking you a question and Zafar is going to debate this with you. Okay, tell me one thing. Okay. Is it true or false that Soros owned, funded Open Society funds media houses that were primarily the pushers of the narrative on farmers' protest, Pegasus, Rafale, Adani? Is it a coincidence that the same media groups, the same political parties, the same George Soros was directly involved? Tanveer, can you be so naive? Come on, Tanveer. Come on.
Okay. Firstly, I don't know whether he funded. Secondly,
of course he has.
The farmers' protest was
Of course he has,
legitimate.
Tanveer. Come on.
Rafale. Okay, I don't know. Okay, farmers' protest was legitimate. And second thing, Rafale, there are still questions which the Honorable Prime Minister definitely needs to answer. And third question, why shouldn't we ask question about Adani? We lost about more than $112 billion. $112 billion. LIC is suffering, SBI is suffering, Indian banks are suffering. And why are we really draping that man who looted this country?
No, you're factually wrong. Factually wrong. LIC has made profits, sir. What are you saying? LIC has made profits from their investment in Adani. What are you saying?
No.
Let me Zafar is a banker. Okay, you debate with Zafar.
Let me respond.
You debate with Zafar. Zafar is a banker, you debate with Zafar.
Zafar is an honorable banker. But before that, every political party, please stop calling names. No, 1 second, Zafar. Stop calling names to every political party. Every political party. You are not the nationalist party. You are absolutely living on the sentiments of religion by dividing. You are a divisive politics. You are not a nationalist party. Every single regional parties which are working for the people of Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra, Kerala, Odisha, they are nationalist parties. They are working for the betterment of the people of the states.
Zafar.
By and large, they are working for the development of the country.
Now you have spoken. Let me respond.
Everything.
Let him respond.
Yes, sir.
Tanveer, you have spoken. Let me respond. See, whether you are nationalist, not nationalist, whether you are working against the interests of your own party or your own country is something which will be decided by the people when they go to vote for your party or for the other party. So during election time, it will get decided, and every time you have seen the response which you are getting from the people because
I mean, that is
of your
not
own
the, that is not the
conduct
parameter.
and
That is
the policies
absolutely
which you
not
have
the
against it.
parameter. You know very good. You know what is politicking and politics. You do politicking well. BJP knows how to do politicking for next generation. You can't do politics for next generation.
Tanveer, I didn't interrupt.
No, you are saying politicking is a
Tanveer, I didn't interrupt.
Politicking is not the mapdand of saying whether you are good or I.
Hear him no,
You
Tanveer.
can respond when I'm done. Tanveer, see, it's not a live debate. I can't see you. I can't see when you are speaking. So allow me to complete. You can respond. I mean, I'm giving you opportunity to listen to me and then I will listen to you as well. Having said that, let me tell you a few things which is important. First of all, you were talking about Adani. And you don't, and Renu or somebody said that the government has not even reacted on that. See, the government, there are enough number of institutions and the regulatory bodies who their job is to take cognizance of such situation.
In the global employability rankings by Times Higher Education UK, only the following 6 institutions from India are ranked amongst the top 230 in the world for having the most employable graduates. IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Kharagpur and Amity University.
एक तो 370-35 से हटा, हमें तो पता ही नहीं लगा। उसके पहले का बताइए सर, आपको क्या पता था और क्या हुआ?
370 हटने वाला है। ये कश्मीर में सिर्फ 2.5 लोगों को मालूम था, 2.5 people, and I was complete one of them.
अच्छा सर।
जो भी इवेंचुअलिटीज हो सकती थी, वो तमाम कॉन्टीजेंसीज को कैटर किया गया था, उनके बारे में प्लानिंग की गई थी, तैयारी की गई थी। आपको नहीं मालूम था, पाकिस्तान को नहीं मालूम था, किसी को नहीं मालूम था क्या होने वाला है। सीक्रेसी को मेंटेन रखते हुए कैसे इस पूरे चीज की तैयारी की गई और किसी को पता भी नहीं चला कि ये कदम गवर्नमेंट उठाने वाली है।
कितने गाजी आए, कितने गाजी गए। अब ये तो सोशल मीडिया में ये जो लफ्ज हैं, ये जो सेंटेंसेस हैं, ये गर्दिश कर रहे हैं। आप बताइए, आपके हिसाब से सबसे बेहतरीन चीज कौन सी थी? व्हेन यू वर GOC 15 कोर हुआ क्या था सर?
जो आपने बात की कितने गाजी आए, कितने गाजी गए और कश्मीर की स्टोरी और कश्मीर की कहानी, ऐसे वो लम्हा था 5 अगस्त 2019 जब आर्टिकल 370 को एब्रोगेट किया गया हिंदुस्तान की सरकार के। उस समय मैं कोर कमांडर था और उस आर्टिकल 370 के एब्रोगेशन के बाद में जो बिल्कुल कश्मीर में शांति रही, एक भी कश्मीरी की जान नहीं गई। लोग कहते थे खून की नदियां बह जाएंगी, लाशें बह जाएंगी, ये कुछ भी नहीं होने दिया। एवरी स्क्वायर इंच ऑफ इंडियन टेरिटरी हिंदुस्तान का तिरंगा लहराएगा, हिंदुस्तान की गवर्नमेंट की रिट चलेगी।
एक तो 370-35 से हटा, हमें तो पता ही नहीं लगा। उसके पहले का बताइए सर, आपको क्या पता था और क्या हुआ?
370 हटने वाला है। ये कश्मीर में सिर्फ 2.5 लोगों को मालूम था, 2.5 people, and I was complete one of them.
अच्छा सर।
जो भी इवेंचुअलिटीज हो सकती थी, वो तमाम कॉन्टीजेंसीज को कैटर किया गया था, उनके बारे में प्लानिंग की गई थी, तैयारी की गई थी। आपको नहीं मालूम था, पाकिस्तान को नहीं मालूम था, किसी को नहीं मालूम था क्या होने वाला है। सीक्रेसी को मेंटेन रखते हुए कैसे इस पूरे चीज की तैयारी की गई और किसी को पता भी नहीं चला कि ये कदम गवर्नमेंट उठाने वाली है।
कितने गाजी आए कितने गाजी गए। अब ये तो सोशल मीडिया में ये जो लफ्ज हैं, ये जो सेंटेंसेस हैं, ये गर्दिश कर रहे हैं। आप बताइए आपके हिसाब से सबसे बेहतरीन चीज कौन सी थी व्हेन यू वर जीओसी 15 कोर? हुआ क्या था सर?
जो आपने बात की कितने गाजी आए कितने गाजी गए और कश्मीर की स्टोरी और कश्मीर की कहानी, ऐसी वो लम्हा था 5 अगस्त 2019 जब आर्टिकल 370 को एब्रोगेट किया गया हिंदुस्तान की सरकार को। उस समय मैं कोर कमांडर था और उस आर्टिकल 370 के एब्रोगेशन के बाद में जो बिल्कुल कश्मीर में शांति रही, एक भी कश्मीरी की जान नहीं गई। लोग कहते थे खून की नदियां बह जाएंगी, लाशें बिछ जाएंगी, ये कुछ भी नहीं होने दिया। एवरी स्क्वायर इंच ऑफ इंडियन टेरिटरी हिंदुस्तान का तिरंगा लहराएगा, हिंदुस्तान की गवर्नमेंट की रिट चलेगी।
Mr. Rahul Singh has been very patiently waiting with us since the beginning of the debate, and in fact he started this debate by giving us a list of the sort of philanthropic work that Mr. George Soros has been doing in India. And now we just heard Savio listing out the kind of, what Savio calls it, he's an economic terrorist, his list of activities. Rahul Singh, how would you like now? Is it a reality check for you? Like, would you admit that George Soros is a dangerous man?
I think Mr. Savio also mentioned the number of medium and small enterprises that he's funded. He's done enormous amount of good, just like Bill Gates and Warren Buffett have done. They've provided enormous funds for just the right reasons. I think George Soros has done the same thing. I think you're making him out to be a monster who's destabilizing governments and all.
But why is he talking about a democratic revival? Who is he to talk about democratic revival if he's a businessman?
Nothing wrong with him.
No,
Nothing wrong with that. Don't we as a people criticize other countries?
We don't. Businessmen don't. No.
If there's something wrong with,
but we are journalists. But can you imagine?
Not only no, I think everybody, every citizen has the right to criticize.
Are you saying that democracy is dead in India? Just yes.
Pardon?
Are you agreeing that democracy is dead in India?
Why should you even ask me that question?
Because that's what he's trying to say, that they need democratic revival. Who is he to seek a democratic revival in India?
No, he's trying in his own way to try to promote democratic forces in this country.
But what is his interest? What is his interest? What is Soros' interest?
He's an activist, as you said. He's an activist. What's wrong with being an activist?
He's a billionaire. He's a billionaire.
So if he's an activist,
what's wrong with being a billionaire? He's an activist billionaire.
No, but he's a businessman at the end of the day.
An outsider can impose his worldview on India.
Who?
An outsider can enforce his worldview on India.
Why not?
Why?
Why? What's wrong with that?
This is
wrong
astounding.
With that? I might like to say something about Brexit. Sir, don't I have the right to say that?
No, I am not going to. I am not going to finance organizations who will destroy Brexit. I don't have a right to do that.
Such a weak nation that we get destabilized by one man. Are we such a weak nation that we get destabilized by one man?
What if a global mercenary?
And what about this conspiracies? All nonsense.
But if he's funding these people, he's funding these people. He's funding these media houses who sing his tune in India. That's okay with you?
He is funding what he feels promotes freedom of expression, freedom of. He's funding.
I just spoke about those issues. We spoke about. Okay. Let me ask this question
now.
There's a lot.
Yes. Okay, let me ask you a question.
There's a lot that is wrong with our democracy.
Yes.
There's no doubt
we can debate that.
Would you agree with that?
But Rahul Singh, let me ask you a question. Is it a coincidence, Rahul Singh, that from Pegasus to Rafale to the farmer protest to the Adani issue, George Soros has a view, the political parties in India who wine and dine with him carry the same view, and the media groups that he funds directly, and we believe that there are 15 to 20 of them, have exactly the same view. There are media groups. You're asking me.
You don't know.
I don't want to take names.
Honestly don't know.
I don't want to. Okay, let me tell you.
I don't know any media.
Okay, let me tell you, sir. Let me tell you. The Soros-owned, run Open Society Foundation funds many media houses in India who were the primary carriers of the news on Pegasus, Rafale, Adani,
who claim to
and
have
farmer protests, who claim to break the stories,
and
they were the same groups. Do you have any doubt?
Hasn't Adani bought over NDTV?
That's a different question, sir. That's fine.
It's related.
How is it related?
It's related.
How is it related?
It's related because the media is also being bought over by big business houses, isn't it?
But
that happens. Another business magnate bought another media house many years ago. But that's a normal business deal. But how is he pushing any narrative? Nothing has changed, right? I mean, the news still goes on.
Well, certain people have resigned from that TV channel, haven't they?
Okay, Ratan Shah, this is not a media
everybody
debate, but Ratan Shah is going to
everybody
respond.
Let me bring back the question to where it began. Is BJP rattled? BJP is not rattled, it is happy.
Say that again.
BJP is rattled, they say. BJP is not rattled, this is happy. BJP is happy because this guy behind the screen has come out in the open and openly claiming that he has a right over disturbing the political scenario in India.
He never said anything like that.
Yes, he has.
He never said anything like that.
No, he has said, sir, he has said. Sir, his words were.
Yes.
Even if he said it, why should we bother about something like that?
Why should we not be bothered about the foreign conspiracy against India?
Why should a man be able to disrupt this country's democracy?
I'll tell you why. Now let me come to the next. I'll answer your question. I'll answer the question. So as far as I as an Indian citizen is concerned, I am worried. BJP is not, because it has got something to play around with in the media. For me, it's a dangerous game that there are 3 meetings held in India, 2 in India, 1 in London, to see to it that Modi doesn't return. Now, who are these people? Nobody denied the report. It's a press report in Sunday Guardian. Secondly, when just a moment, sir.
Return to power.
Okay. So now I am worried that why should outsiders have an interest in destabilizing Indian elections? Secondly, Kundakulam copper project was stopped by NGOs whom Manmohan Singh called foreign funded, and that led to 40% fall in local copper production, who benefited China. During farmer agitation, Reliance shops were ransacked and its towers are destroyed, because Reliance Jio is the only company which has no Chinese part. Who benefits why? So there are some connections which you must realize. Some lady was saying, about BBC. Then she was saying about the Wire. She named the Wire.
You mean Renu? Okay, you can
ask Renu. She talked about the Wire.
The question. Yes.
Wire has to take down many stories. Does she know that? It has to take down many stories which are malicious, which are not accepted by people, and they have to go back. And one person had to apologize. Then I am worried when there is no action by Soros when Congress is ruling, because it has friends in Congress. Mr. Tharoor called him his friend. Then there is Manmohan Singh's daughter, who works in one of the...
call him his friend, he met him. He met George Soros.
And Manmohan Singh's daughter works in one of the foundations of Mr. Soros.
She was a senior legal officer.
Then Mani Iyer's daughter works in one of the foundations of Soros. So we have a lot of networks being created around it.
And he had the vice president of the Open Foundation working with Rahul Gandhi.
Exactly. So these are the people who have got connection with Soros, who believe that Modi must be removed, not by democratic norms, by any other norms. Because
making it out to be some sort of huge conspiracy that's against India.
I gave you many dots, but you don't want to connect. You are a very veteran journalist. If you don't want to connect dots, I thank you very much. But people will connect dots, you may not. And those dots are very clear. When you fund those media houses, when you fund those political parties, and see, he talked about regional parties. I don't at all, discount regional parties. I respect them a lot. Let BJP say whatever. But does he support DMK when it starts a stir by attacking non-Tamils in Tamil Nadu? Is that the regional party you want? That is where I see the danger. I don't see any danger in a JDS or any other party. But when we say everything is fine, there is nothing wrong, and people are being persecuted, man, they have got something which they want, they have to be persecuted for.
Yeah, Renu, what were you saying?
She talked about action. Government has put Soros Foundation's FCRA contribution to organizations. They cannot do it without permission. So that is the control they are putting in. So don't tell me there is no control. And when BBC's surveyed, you have all heated.
Freedom of speech is in danger.
Shouting, and BBC's
threat to freedom of
notice
speech
starts in 2012. This questions against BBC started in 2012. Nobody has a voice. Suddenly you are out to defend the BBC. Then you say, oh, they must.
By the way, there have been tax.
Can I please speak?
Yes, the income tax raid.
No, it's not a raid.
You can call them whatever they like.
No.
Yes.
When the income tax authorities enter your office, is it not a raid?
So, but it's a survey, sir.
It is.
The income tax authorities have the right to question you on the taxes.
Enter somebody else's house.
It's like a black and white raid.
If they enter my house, it will be a survey.
See, when you seal the entire property, when you seal everything, you take action, that is called raid.
There's a difference between a survey and a raid,
Why does it take place straight after
the survey was started by UPA, sir.
Why does it take place
system was started by UPA. So what is wrong with that?
Why didn't it take place much earlier?
That is the question you can ask UPA also.
Why did it take
You
place
could ask
now?
that question of Manmohan Singh also.
No.
Because they started 2012. The inquiry against BBC started way back in 2012.
I don't know any inquiry against BBC.
That is the
in
problem. I
2012.
don't know, then I'm telling
Yes.
you.
Renu
No
is
income tax
making a
was
point,
done on
Niranjan.
them.
No, they have violated laws for transfer pricing, etc.
Look,
This inquiry about
it so
transfer pricing
happens-
issue
it
starts
so-
in 2012.
It so happens that the BBC is the most creditable,
Oh,
credible,
Okay.
and
No,
trusted,
no, no, sir,
or
sir,
trusted
sir, sir, that-
media
that's
house
a-
in the world.
Sir,
That's a totally
there's one
different-
small problem
I'm
there,
just
sir.
saying.
So there's a
I'm saying
small
that
problem there, Mr.
it's-
Rahul Singh.
It is trusted.
Yes,
You
sir.
know, when the Bangladesh war took place,
Sir.
only the BBC was being heard.
Sir, there may have been many years ago, sir. Sir, many decades ago, maybe.
And
sir.
when the
Which
emergency,
colonial era are we talking about?
My last point.
when the emergency
My
took
last point
place,
today.
sir,
My
only
last
the
point today.
BBC reported that
My
the
last point
emergency
today,
has taken
sir.
place.
Yeah.
Soros promotes wokeism. What is wokeism? That if you don't agree with them, you are not allowed to speak anything. You are cancelled.
They'll cancel
Cancel
you.
culture.
Social
That's the cancel
entire
culture. Yes.
society. You are deplatformed. Your software is taken down. That is called cancelling culture, which comes from the so-called liberal values of wokeism. While in us fascist
the
countries,
world,
people can come
no,
on the TV, abuse Modi, insult Modi for 9 years.
Yes.
Nobody
Yeah.
goes to jail.
Yes.
But that's democracy.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's not what Soros supports.
And this is the kind of-
exactly. You
No,
made my
I don't
point.
think, Mr. I don't think, no, sir, but Mr. Rahul Singh, I don't think you know about BBC taking money from China and investing back in Chinese companies. Did you know that they invested 150 million pounds of their pension of their former employees in Chinese banks? Did you know, while Huawei is banned in the UK, did you know that at least 8 Chinese state-run firms are working with the BBC? They're funding the BBC outside of the UK. Did you know that?
No, but tell me, why
Sir,
has the BBC not made themselves an internal inquiry into that?
Sir, they've
not made-
employees
you
of the
think-
BBC have spoken out against it. I think
Sir,
that Mr. Rahul
BBC
said,
was
why you don't know about
penalized.
that?
Sir, BBC was penalized for nearly $2 million. They had to pay back to the
4
government
million
because
pounds,
of
if I'm not wrong.
trying to evade tax. UK government, UK BBC.
Okay, Renu wants to come in.
It's not paragon of virtue. It's not whitewashed angel, sir.
Renu wants to
And
come in.
this is a
Renu and then
report.
I'll bring in Manaswi. Renu, Manaswi and Zafar. Renu.
The only very small point I want to make is that there is a wider, larger, worldwide concern at the sliding democratic values in India, how civil activists are being put in jail,
please give
how
evidence.
people who write against Mr. Modi
Manasvi,
on
make a
Twitter,
statement.
their handles are. Please,
is
let
that
me just
in
say
the freedom
2 words.
index,
I'm saying
sir,
that
substantiate your
there
point.
is concern. There is one minute, please. Anything on Modi,
Okay,
and you want to shut down
Okay,
everything.
Renu,
This is what we are talking
Renu's
about.
making a point.
Why
Renu's making a
not?
point.
Why so rattled? Why so rattled?
I said
Why so
BJP is
concerned?
happy, madam.
Mr. Modi can
I
defend
said
himself.
BJP is happy.
And many others like you. I'm saying that wherever, please, whenever you see any word is spoken against Mr. Modi or anybody close to him or the government, there is an immediate shutdown. Now, these are the areas of concern. Your concern is only China. China may be one concern, please carry on with it. But whatever is being said, the attempt is to shut down those people. The attempt is for you to gather a crowd of pro-BJP spokesperson. I don't know where suddenly so many have sprouted
You come
from.
on every day
and
on
you
TV,
find
man.
that they
Nobody
are there
stops you.
to
No, he's
kill
not a
your
pro-BJP
voice. The
spokesperson.
point
Ratan
is-
Shah does not- please don't call him a pro-BJP spokesperson.
But you are the point
I'm a person with
is
national views.
that this is happening.
You said
all the
BJP is
time
rattled. I
and
said they're
every
happy.
day.
That's not
No,
pro-BJP
whatever
statement. That's a
nationalists
cynical
say,
statement.
Everybody who
I
is
don't
praising
understand
Modi
what I
is a
said you didn't
nationalist.
understand.
Anybody who is questioning
being
him is an
cynical. I said
anti-national.
BJP is enjoying the
so
moment.
What,
You are
what
saying
is
they're
happening
rattled.
in this country? We are saying we are saying that a whole lot of voices are being shut down. People
Can I
are
ask
being
you a
put in
question,
jail.
Renu?
Fake cases are being filed against them. So why should there not be a worldwide concern on this?
What is
No,
your
no,
opinion?
one minute.
Just a
No,
moment.
no,
What is your
no,
opinion
one
India to thrive.
on Congress
And
party
one
shutting
man's
down
voice-
Republic TV?
One man's voice will
Putting-
kill
No, no,
one
this
minute.
country.
Why-
How is it possible?
Putting Arnab Goswami in
You see,
jail.
No, sir, that's okay.
One
That's
man's
fine.
voice
It's okay.
cannot
Trying to shut
destabilize
down
a country
the
like
TV.
India,
What is
which
your
has
opinion on
very
that? That
strong
was
roots.
Congress government, no?
So,
Any opinion on that?
No, democracy didn't die then, sir. What are you saying,
Yeah.
Ratan Shah?
Congress
There
has
was
done
democracy.
Congress
You're
has-
fascist.
Congress has
Yeah,
done
democracy
so many
didn't
wrongs.
die.
That's
It's
why
okay.
That's why they came down to 44 seats. Why are you harping on the Congress? It did so much wrong. It's come to 44 seats.
Democracy was alive at that time, ma'am.
Is Mr. Modi moving
Democracy
in the
was
same
thriving
direction?
at that time.
Okay.
Democracy, no, it wasn't.
We're deviating. Okay. We're deviating
from what we're talking about.
So people reacted.
Can I come in? Niranjan, can I please come in?
Yes.
Yeah, Manasvi. Okay,
Niranjan, can I come in?
Yes, Manasvi.
Can it survive like this?
No, but I can't believe you
And what
said.
about the Israel?
No, I can't believe you said Soros has the right to make a comment about India's democracy, and it's completely okay. I find it amazing that as a journalist you felt that's okay.
Putting money there, that is the problem.
We comment on England. The point is, one Mr.
Niranjan, can I
Soros.
please
Okay, Manasvi, yes, Manasvi, you can. And Manasvi, I'll bring in Savio and Zafar and I'll thank. Yeah. Final comments.
It's got strong leaders. But this
Niranjan,
only one-sided voice.
Niranjan, I have a very specific question to Zafarji. Niranjan, I have a very...
Yes, please go ahead, Manasvi.
Renuji, please allow me. Niranjan and Tanika, I have a very specific question to Zafarji because this is very important. It is not just about Soros, it is about Soros funding. And the first person to actually bring out the research is actually Savio. Savio in 2021, 2 years ago, wrote an article which says global economic terrorist George Soros has got his foot into Indian startup and MSME businesses. And now my point what comes in, how many startups have he actually funded, George Soros? What do these startups do? Where did this funding go? When will we actually know the real investigation and the outcome of it? If George Soros, and he is an anti-national, he is not working in the interest of India, so we need to have a proper investigation done against what kind of funding he has done, not only in the startups but also in his foundations. Where is this money actually going? Is this hampering Indian national interest? That is to be done, and this has to the government should bring out this in open. It should not just be a debate. It should not just end here. It should begin from here. And all the documents and information is with Savio, and he's very close to BJP. He has also fought an election from BJP 2 years ago. He wrote an article, a detailed article. In 2014, India-specific fund was established by Soros company, and he's been investing in our country. And since 9 years, we have no idea that this guy has actually so much big roots in Indian startup ecosystem. This also needs to be questioned. Where is his money going, and who are the real beneficiary out of it? An anti-national person like Soros cannot be scot-free. We should have a full investigation against this person. This is my only request from Zafarji.
Zafar, your response to that? Your response to the claims that Manasvi is making? Yes.
Let me respond. Let me respond to that, Mr. Manasvi. Let me assure you that this is a government who always safeguard the nation's interest and prioritize it as the highest priority. We will do definitely, the government must be on it and must be investigating it, that about the sources of fund, where it has been invested, what is the purpose, everything. I'm sure it is being done, and as and when it needs to come out in public domain, it will be in public domain as well. But let me assure you that this government cannot or will never allow any such forces who intends and whose motive is to destabilize the country and break the social fabric of our country and damage our democracy, which we are proud of. We will never let those forces having a foot in our country. We will definitely take stern action against them. Also, let me also tell you that people are saying that we get rattled. No. The Honorable Prime Minister has not once but many times has very clearly stated that you can put us in the dock. No harm, because we are in the government. People can question us, and you must question us. And we do not evade question. We respond adequately and with sincerity, and we have always responded to the people. But if you are asking me a question as a citizen, but when your intention is something different, then we know how to respond those people also.
Yeah. Savio. Yeah, Savio, one last word from you, Savio. The fact that Soros himself has now spoken out, right? I mean, it's an unusual comment. Many say that he's actually come out in the open and revealed himself in the game plan. Everything that we've spoken of in the last few years. Now, what people called conspiracy has been proven by himself. He's proven himself that he actually has an interest in destabilizing the government. He speaks of democratic revival. He speaks of weakening. His exact words were Modi's hold will weaken.
Stranglehold will weaken.
Stranglehold will weaken. For a businessman to say that, I think the game plan is out, right?
Okay, Niranjan, we should stop calling him a businessman. He's an economic terrorist. So let me give you another fact. WikiLeaks had revealed that Soros had once issued orders to the then Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton. The email is directly sent from Soros to Clinton. In fact, I can give you that email. And he gives her a step-by-step instructions on how to intervene in the internal workings of the sovereign nation of Albania. Not only did Soros give Clinton specific instructions on how to handle the Albanian situation, he also made clear that his instructions should be carried out. And at the end of that email, there is a suggestion from Soros to Clinton that his foundation, which is the Open Society Foundation, can actually be a de facto acting like CIA in the Albanian region. That was the mail sent. And this was revealed by WikiLeaks. In August 2016, there was another group of hackers called DC Leaks that actually hacked into Soros's organizational files. And the files, which were roughly about 2,576 documents, were made public. And those documents are highly interesting because they talk about how this gentleman's organization, Open Society, his funds, his various different enterprises, how they work towards working with countries, with nations, and then work towards destabilizing it to then gain an economic advantage. When you come to the farmers' protest, let me give you one very important fact. There was an ad that came out in New York Times. That New York Times ad had 76 people, 76 different organizations that put out that ad or claimed to put out that ad. In those 76 organizations, there was one organization called CAIR, C-A-I-R, the Council of American Islamic Research, or something of that nature. CAIR is considered to be a terrorist sympathizer. There have been articles written about them. Now, CAIR gets its funding from Open Society. They had received fundings almost 6-7 years to 8 years ago, where they received at least $300,000 plus. Now that's the point. The point is you are seeing the front end of George Soros, which is what he portrays as a business person. But he is, in all actuality, he's not a businessman. He is an economic terrorist. That's his intent. Open Society is just the front to reach out to nations, especially developing nations or underdeveloped nations. You should actually read the document that China has on him. In fact, China did a research on him because he was interfering in China, and they've actually told him, if you read that document, they actually pinpoint to what is the nature of Soros's activity as far as nations are concerned. So he's not right, he's not left. He is purely for himself. He is purely for his investments. Look at all the large media houses. In any case, George Soros's funded companies have got, almost 80%.
Okay, one last question, Zafar. Yeah, Zafar, one last question and I'll end it, right? One last question to you. Now, will you raise this issue, or will your government, will your party push for this to be investigated? Will you raise this strongly? Will you probe those who got the investments from Soros-linked groups?
Yes, of course. Let me tell you, as I said earlier also, that you know his background. You also know Soros has played roles in many other countries, including Arab Spring and many other countries, wherever his footprint was there. But if he is doing something in India, I'm sure the government will investigate and also punish people who are aligning with them and who are working against the interests of the nation.
Okay.
We take your word for that, Zafar, and we'll keep a watch on the developments that are taking place, on the words that you've said, on the promises that you're making on the weekend debate this Sunday on Republic TV. Thank you very much, Zafar, Savio, Renu, Manasvi, and to our studio panelists here, Ratan Sharda and Mr. Rahul Singh. Thank you very much for joining us on this Sunday edition of the Weekend Debate. See you next weekend.
In the global employability rankings by Times Higher Education UK, only the following 6 institutions from India are ranked amongst the top 230 in the world for having the most employable graduates. IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Kharagpur and Amity University.
एक तो 370-35 से हटा, हमें तो पता ही नहीं लगा। उसके पहले का बताइए सर, आपको क्या पता था और क्या हुआ?
370 हटने वाला है। ये कश्मीर में सिर्फ 2.5 लोगों को मालूम था, 2.5 people, and I was complete one of them.
अच्छा सर।
जो भी इवेंचुअलिटीज हो सकती थी वो तमाम कॉन्टीजेंसीज को कैटर किया गया था, उनके बारे में प्लानिंग की गई थी, तैयारी की गई थी। आपको नहीं मालूम था, पाकिस्तान को नहीं मालूम था, किसी को नहीं मालूम था क्या होने वाला है। सीक्रेसी को मेंटेन रखते हुए कैसे इस पूरे चीज की तैयारी की गई और किसी को पता भी नहीं चला कि ये कदम गवर्नमेंट उठाने वाली है।
कितने गाजी आए, कितने गाजी गए। अब ये तो सोशल मीडिया में ये जो लफ्ज हैं, ये जो सेंटेंसेस हैं, ये गर्दिश कर रहे हैं। आप बताइए, आपके हिसाब से सबसे बेहतरीन चीज कौन सी थी व्हेन यू वर जीओसी 15 कोर? हुआ क्या था सर?
जो आपने बात की कितने गाजी आए, कितने गाजी गए और कश्मीर की स्टोरी और कश्मीर की कहानी, ऐसे वो लम्हा था 5 अगस्त 2019 जब आर्टिकल 370 को एब्रोगेट किया गया हिंदुस्तान की सरकार को। उस समय मैं कोर कमांडर था और उस आर्टिकल 370 के एब्रोगेशन के बाद में जो बिल्कुल कश्मीर में शांति रही, एक भी कश्मीरी की जान नहीं गई। लोग कहते थे खून की नदियां बह जाएंगी, लाशें बिछ जाएंगी, ये कुछ भी नहीं होने दिया। एवरी स्क्वायर इंच ऑफ इंडियन टेरिटरी, हिंदुस्तान का तिरंगा लहराएगा, हिंदुस्तान की गवर्नमेंट की रिट चलेगी।
एक तो 370-35 से हटा, हमें तो पता ही नहीं लगा। उसके पहले का बताइए सर, आपको क्या पता था और क्या हुआ?
370 हटने वाला है। ये कश्मीर में सिर्फ 2.5 लोगों को मालूम था, 2.5 people, and I was complete one of them.
अच्छा सर।
जो भी इवेंचुअलिटीज हो सकती थी वो तमाम कॉन्टीजेंसीज को कैटर किया गया था, उनके बारे में प्लानिंग की गई थी, तैयारी की गई थी। आपको नहीं मालूम था, पाकिस्तान को नहीं मालूम था, किसी को नहीं मालूम था क्या होने वाला है। सीक्रेसी को मेंटेन रखते हुए कैसे इस पूरे चीज की तैयारी की गई और किसी को पता भी नहीं चला कि ये कदम गवर्नमेंट उठाने वाली है।
कितने गाजी आए, कितने गाजी गए। अब ये तो सोशल मीडिया में ये जो लफ्ज हैं, ये जो सेंटेंसेस हैं, ये गर्दिश कर रहे हैं। आप बताइए, आपके हिसाब से सबसे बेहतरीन चीज कौन सी थी व्हेन यू वर जीओसी 15 कोर? हुआ क्या था सर?
जो आपने बात की कितने गाजी आए, कितने
Begin with the headlines first.
There is no Indian constitution in Telangana. There is only the KCR's constitution. Telangana is the Afghanistan of India and KCR is its Taliban.
KCR versus YS Sharmila. YSRTP chief detained over comments against BRS MLA hits out at KCR post release.
बहुत अदब से कहूँगा, अमित शाह जी, दूध का दूध पानी का पानी नहीं हुआ है, सारे दूध का पानी कर दिया। दूध तो छोड़ा ही नहीं, आपके इलेक्शन कमीशन ने दूध को पानी बना दिया है।
In the series of questioning agencies, Vadra Congress targets Election Commission over verdict on the Shiv Sena.
TMC workers staged sit-in dharna outside MOS Nishit Pramanik residence, alleges youth shot down by BSF. Pro-Khalistani elements gather outside Indian High Commission in London, raising Enter India slogans.
देश को कहलाता हम एक दिवालिया मुल्क के रहने वाले हैं.
Pakistan's embarrassment continues with the defense minister on tape saying, "No hope left, we are bankrupt."
There will be times we will be put under pressure. It's just about absorbing that pressure and keeping it there, and let the pitch do the rest. That was the talk.
All right, India beat Australia by 6 wickets, take a 2-0 lead in the 4-match Border Gavaskar series. Welcome again. Action down south. Mega political face-off in the state of Telangana. It's KCR versus YS Sharmila for now. YSR TP chief Sharmila hit out at Telangana Chief Minister KCR after she was released